In the last video, we created our campaign factory contract. We're now going to use Remix to test this thing out and make sure that it's working the way we expect. So remember, from now on, we're not going to be creating campaigns directly ourselves. Instead, we're going to create a campaign factory and then ask this thing to create campaigns for us. I'm going to open up the right-hand nav. I'll select Run. I'll make sure that I delete any existing contracts I've already got in here. I'll make sure that I've got JavaScript VM selected. I'm going to select the top account. And then I'm going to select in this dropdown right here, Campaign Factory. So no longer do we want to create an instance of campaign, we want to make Campaign Factory. I'll create Campaign Factory. So here's our instance of Campaign Factory right here. Again, I can't say it enough. Remember, we're only ever going to be working with one copy of this thing. Now we can use this to create a new instance of a campaign. It takes a single argument whenever we create a campaign, and that is the minimum contribution to the campaign. So again, I'm going to use 0 right here because I don't really care about any minimum contribution or anything like that. So now I can click on Create Campaign, and before I do, I'm going to pull up my terminal right here. So here's Create Campaign. That creates a new instance of campaign for us. If we now click on the Get Deployed Campaigns button, we'll see the address of the campaign that was just created. So now we want to somehow manipulate or make use of the contract that exists at this address right here. Eventually, as we start to work on our front-end application, we'll take this address and use Web3 to interact with it. But I do want to show you how you can interact with this contract by using Remix as well. If you highlight this address right here and copy it, you can then come back up to this little Create Contract selector right here. You can change the drop down back to Campaign. And then rather than clicking on Create right here, we can enter in that address to the @address input right here. So Remix allows you not only to create new contracts on the fly, but you can also have it kind of interact with already deployed contracts as well. So I can paste in that address, click @address, and then I'll see the campaign that we just created appear right here. So this is the campaign that was just created by our campaign factory. And we can interact with it just as we normally would. So for example, I could print out the manager. Here's my address right here. You'll notice that it is correctly using my address rather than the campaign factory address. We could get, say, approvers count 0 because no one's donated to it just yet. And hey, I'm sure everything else inside of here works just as well. All right, so that's pretty much it. That is a demonstration of our campaign factory in progress. Again, we are using this idea of a factory not only to add some level of security to our deployments, but also give us the ability to easily keep track of all the existing campaigns that have ever been deployed inside of our application. I think that's pretty much it for what we have to do inside of Remix for right now. So let's continue in the next section, and we're going to start writing our actual tests for these contracts. So I'll see you in just a minute.